What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Triple Play Fantasy Network. You can see us streaming on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere you know we at. Of course, DMendio2 joined by my co-host Kevin, aka at @TheBoys_22. Kev, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. I'm glad you can hang out, and we got a live mock. I'm excited with rookies included. So I'm excited to roll and get started here and show you why I'm better than you in fantasy. So that's good.
Man, you don't know how to tease, Kev. You don't know how to tease.
We can do that. I'm not a tease. My wife tells me that. All right, sorry, a little too much.
It's okay. It's all good. Hey, Kev gave it away. We're going to be doing a 2022 mock draft, but what type of mock draft exactly? We're going to tell you guys in a second, because before we do that, I got to make sure I introduce our guests. It's not just me and Kev this week doing our mock. We have two guests joining us. Starting off with, we welcome in a man that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's working harder than you. This man does fantasy football content for fantasy pros, IDP guides, and dynasty nerds. A real triple threat, if I've ever seen one. The man who wore his Joe Mixon love proudly this season, and it paid off mightily as he's watching him and the Bengals move on to the Super Bowl. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't have fun without Con Bon, and he's here with us today. We're welcoming our guy, Connor. How's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. Excited to be here. And who day?
Yeah, man. You can shout that wherever you want right now because your Bengals are there. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a guy here joining me who understands my pain as a Chiefs fan. And we welcome in a man that you could say is famous for his rants. He's a film analyst for the Fantasy Football Astronauts and RGR on YouTube. This man is someone who bleeds Chiefs red just like me, and I'd consider him my Mahomie. I promise you no harm if you sit in the film room with him to watch some tape on prospects. We welcome in Daniel Harms. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good. That was one incredible intro you give me, and I can only follow it up by saying I'm still currently bleeding, regardless of whether I'm bleeding Chiefs or not. I'm just a little hurt. I recorded one of my famous rants today for the RGR members, so that should be fun. And like I said, I even got the backdrop nice and blue for you guys today. So thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Of course, man. You both do awesome work in the Twitter sphere. You guys are doing a ton of good written content, video content. It's again, very great stuff. And we're pumped to have you guys for our live mock draft, which is going to be 12-team Superflex PPR mock with actual rookies included, as Sleeper has now put the actual rookies in. So we know exactly which rookies you have in mind as we take them. 30-second clock. You know how we roll. If you're not there, you're going to be auto-picked. We're savages around here. We're not waiting around for you. All right? So without further ado, Kev needs to see his kids today. So I want to make sure we get this mock draft in there and we get this rolling. And I'm going to make sure you guys can see the screen as if I could get that'd be nice. Let me switch the view here. Okay. We got our mock draft set up. Kev's got the first pick. I'm going to commence the draft right now. See in the chat that Kev told me to shut up, so we're going to start. And here we go. As Kev now is on the clock.
Wow.
What is that?
What is that?
Yeah, you're going to have to. Maybe that was me. Was that me?
All right, I'm going to turn my sound.
You're going to have to turn that sound up. Man, we started off great. We started off great in this podcast.
Since when does it do that?
I don't know. I'm going to blame you. Not a shock that our boy Daniel and Patrick Mahomes there at the 102.
No, it shouldn't be either.
I can't blame him. A couple other people I'll just introduce while we're picking here. That's in the chat. We have Coach Bruce. We have, of course, Connor. You have the third pick. So you guys are all three back to back. 1, 2, 3. There's going to be some sniping, I'm sure.
That's impressive.
And then we got our buddy Toby Z2 Fantasy at 5. I'm at 6. Derek Delgado, who's a member in the Triple Play Fantasy Discord. He's there. We've got Steve Lawson, the Patriots logo over there. We've got our buddy Christian Crespo, also a Triple Play member at 10. We got Coach. We got the McBreeze, my man. He's there. We got just a bunch of people all over the place. I love Commish Breeze, so he's there. And then we're moving. So let's talk. Jonathan Taylor at 3. Connor, you decided to not go a quarterback. What are you thinking here?
I got sniped. I was going to take Mahomes or Josh Allen, but of course you guys had to snipe me. But can't argue with what JT did. It's going to be kind of hard to replicate, but I'm a big JT fan, so I had to go with him.
Yeah, you guys are making me have to really think here right now because I want to go quarterback. But you know what? At this point right now, no, sir. Justin Jefferson.
Oof.
That's
Taking
a
him.
that's a good pick.
Yeah, I think there's a certain point when a certain number of quarterbacks have gone that I'm not going to take a quarterback just to take one here. And I wanted Herbert. And since he didn't make it to me, then we're going to go best receiver on the board, especially with it being a dynasty league. Always should be in there as a contender for the number one. But we get Joe Burrow with Derek Delgado, so we're going back to the quarterbacks here. I got to ask you guys, I'm going to ask you, Daniel, at which point are you okay taking a non-quarterback here? Is it if after Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and maybe Herbert, are you like, you know what, I'm not taking a quarterback necessarily? Or is it like you got 4 or 5 guys at the quarterback position before you would look at others?
Yeah, I typically have anywhere from 5 to 6, depending on how the board drops. I do think you're going to find some value at quarterback. I can already see there's a guy that I would be looking at near the end of the first round here because he's a little bit. There he goes. Lamar Jackson is one of the guys that I would be targeting near the end. He seems to be. I actually did a little post on Twitter today. It was just a poll. Who you'd rather have is Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson? And like 75% of people said Joe Burrow. I can't get on board with that idea. I love Joe Burrow, but Lamar Jackson's got that legit QB1 upside with the rushing and everything. So yeah, I usually have like 5 or 6, and then I start to think about wide receiver, running back, and typically that Jonathan Taylor goes top 5. So if I'm in there, then I go typically Jefferson, Chase, try to get one of those top 2 wide receivers and go from there.
I think it's a good way to do it for sure. As like you kind of saw how it played out. Jonathan Taylor, Jefferson, and Chase all going inside the top, 7 picks there, 8 picks. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of how you're talking about how it plays out. I am very interested to see this has kind of played out a little differently than it has in other drafts that Kevin and I have done, as Christian McCaffrey goes in the first round. And we've seen him go a lot more closer to the middle back end of the second. Kev, I'm interested. What are your thoughts on our buddy here who's also in the Triple Play Fantasy Discord?
I love that start because Swift got picked. So if you could take Swift and McCaffrey there, I think it's fine. I think McCaffrey could do well, and you got 2 straight in running back ones. The thing is, for me, is like where's he going to go with quarterback, because it's going to get desolate, and that's kind of the key. I think what we've seen in these mocks is after that second and mid-third with these quarterbacks the way they're going, it's really hard to grab a quarterback. But you can win like that. I mean, I won a league like there was Zach Wilson and Mac Jones as my quarterbacks. So it can happen, but you really got to hit these other guys. And I had Debo and some other guys. So I think that's where you're going to go with.
Yeah, I think so. And the interesting part is you can kind of get a sense on how you expect they're going to build their team as we see how this plays out. Nobody's gone 2 quarterbacks yet, which I know is some people like to start in Superflex. Obviously, we have another half of the round to go, but I'll be interested to see if anybody decides to start off with that build. Now, I'm going to ask you, Connor. Well, actually, I'll wait till I pick. But what do you think of how the draft's played out so far? Any surprises to you?
Jalen Waddle in the early second. I mean, he had a really good rookie year for sure, but I didn't think his ADP was going to be this high. But I mean, I can't hate it. But yeah, out of all the picks that have gone, yeah, Waddle probably surprised me the most.
Yeah, he's, I think, more than any other player, he's shot up draft boards like crazy. Not to necessarily that high, but he started out maybe a month and a half ago when Kevin and I started doing these. He was like a 4th, 5th round pick. Then he was up to like the 3rd round, now like to the back end of the 2nd. And now he's beginning of the 2nd round. So our guy Breeze is really high on him. Javonte Williams and Waddle is not a bad start. Now, Connor, you're on the clock here with Jonathan Taylor, and you go double running back with Taylor and Henry. Interesting. I like it. You got 2 studs there. What do you think about that start?
Yeah, it's going to be kind of risky not getting a QB, but we'll see who falls to me, see who's left, and we'll go from there.
Hey, I mean, again, we're going to kind of build on the fly here, and with 30-second clocks, you don't really have much of a time to gain. You just have to pick your guy and go. And Daniel, I got to say, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, that's a golf clap start.
I mean, I couldn't say no. I thought Tyreek could be taken maybe before Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, considering his age, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to stack him like that. And, this is an interesting spot because as much as I want one of these one of these guys. I think what I'm going to end up doing is, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take
Oh,
Debo.
yeah.
I like it.
Look at that. That's a fantastic start. Mahomes, Hill, and Samuel. Kev, as much as I hate to admit it, I like your start as well with Allen, Lance. You got your 2 quarterbacks, and you got Kyle Pitts, who obviously in a dynasty format, first tight end off the board, but I mean, he's looking to be obviously the top dynasty tight end right now, him or Mark Andrews. You think you'll regret not taking a wide receiver?
No, wide receiver I'm not regretting. I was going to take Debo. I was close. I almost took Debo there. I wanted to do a little different here, too, in terms of, like, getting different guys. I like Pitts in this format, too. At this point, the way I look at it, the 101, I think if you don't get a running back, if, like, Eckler was there, I might have grabbed him. But I feel like 0 running back is the way to go, like, at that 101 spot with where this kind of board went. So, and I'll take Pitts all day. I think Pitts is going to be – he's a cheat code when we look at tight ends. Yeah. I know that he didn't score touchdowns this year, but he will. And so I can build a roster construct around there. And there's going to be wide receiver value. But I would have went Debo. But you remember when Debo was going like in the 5th and 6th round when we started doing these like a month ago? Now it's that ADP value's gone.
Yeah, he's shot up now. You're not getting him. The 3rd round is where he's sticking most times, sometime back into the 2nd. But yeah. You got to pay up for him for sure. And there's always going to be the question now with Trey Lance taking over, is he going to take a hit as far as his value? Or could the fact that potentially if he's starting to get a lot of carries next year, could he start breaking down and getting hurt? Like there's a lot that could go wrong for Deebo Samuel if you're drafting him this high for next year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think that Deebo's got, some injury issues, but I think as long as Lance is there, his downfield pass catching opportunities are going to be much more, especially on the outside, though down the sidelines where Jimmy Garoppolo can't actually hit very consistently. I think Trey Lance gives you more of an opportunity there. So maybe they use him more of as a traditional wide receiver, getting a little bit more underneath stuff, more yak opportunity, and definitely more downfield passing. So I'm okay taking a risk there.
I like it. I got to point out our guy Christian Crespo. I'm a real big fan of his start with Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, and DK Metcalf. I think that's a really good start. I'll be interested to see what he does in the 4th round here, but I like it. I like it. And he's in the comments, knowing that his team is looking pretty good. So I got to ask you, what do you think, Connor? Do you like the Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf start?
Yeah, I really like that a lot. 2 young stud wide receivers, and then Lamar Jackson, who I think is going to have a bounce back year in 2022. And then for the next foreseeable future, I love his start.
Yeah, I think it's good. And we're seeing a lot of different builds here. One thing I got to point out, Steve Lawson, who went 3 running backs to start. He got Najee Harris, Antonio Gibson, Joe Mixon. Now, Kev, I'm gonna go take this one to you. The 3 running backs start in a Superflex league PPR. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a notorious 0 running back guy or anchor running back guy, so I'm definitely not taking 3. But I mean, we'll see how he builds. It depends. I mean, I like Najee and these guys, but the quarterback position is drying up. So if you look at the board and you're looking there, like, where's he going to go? If he's going to go quarterback here, I guess he could get Trevor Lawrence and Russell Wilson. Like, there's still some value out there on the board. So I think it just kind of depends on where he wants to go. But I don't hate it because there are some wide receivers in the 4th, 5th, 6th round you can get, but he's got to get a quarterback, I would assume.
Well, he did message me right before the show and said, I'm ready for you to tear my team apart. So he said he prefaced it. He was ready for it. He's a good guy, though.
And I agree with you on Lamar. Lamar's going to be amazing next year. Like, I'm all on the Lamar train.
There you go. He got his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, there. So we're making our way back around. We've got Kev with 2 quarterbacks at tight end. So I imagine you're probably going to go wide receiver.
Don't tell me what I'm going to do, David. I don't know what I'm going to do yet.
I'm a Nostradamus. I'm predicting wide receiver for you. I still like the fact that you guys are all 3 back-to-back. I'm hoping somebody snipes somebody at some point.
Well, he already,
It's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. Yeah.
And we're looking now, J.K. Dobbins, great pick in the 4th round. From Christian there. Christian, again, I don't like to admit some things to Christian, but that is a good start. J.K. Dobbins as his first running back off the board is a great pick. That's a Kevin pick right there. You must be looking at your notes.
That is a Kevin pick. I love Dobbins. I wish if he would have fell back to me at the end of the 4th, that would have been a smash.
Yeah. And there goes T. Higgins, who was going to be somebody I was going to look at. I didn't even realize I was on the clock. Holy guacamole.
Come on, Mendelson.
Holy goodness gracious. I just got a pick. Okay. I'll get myself.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Now we're back to Toby, who's in the draft, but he said he's working, so he's kind of half being able to take a look at the board.
He's got a pretty damn good team for just getting auto. Like, I wouldn't mind that start. If you go Murray, Cup, Andrews, that's not a bad start.
Definitely not.
That's the cop out where it's like, if you say my team is bad, it's because I'm working, and if my team is good, then it's because I'm trying. So
that's that home league crap where some guy just gets picked and then you lose to them.
Okay, let me
all right,
see.
well, as Connor's making his pick here, I'm going to ask you guys, Saquon Barkley in the back end of the 4th round, is that appropriate value for him? He's somebody that I'm kind of staying away from at the moment unless he really drops. What do you think? I'll go to Connor first because he just made his pick.
You bastard, Connor.
Did you ask about Barkley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that spot. I think he's a good value there. With a new head coach and hopefully new offense, better improved offensive line. I mean, I love him at that spot. If you can get him in the 4th round, I would definitely smash that all day.
Yeah, good. That definitely is kind of the area I'm willing to take him there. And Connor, you sniped Kevin, and he's going
he
2
started going
wide receivers.
Oh my gosh,
that's the Devi. That's the Devi in him.
Hey, listen, I'm a big believer in Garrett Wilson. If I could get both those guys there with Pitts and Lance and build a young team with Allen, I think that's kind of the value.
Wow, Kevin going young and taking some good young wide receivers there. It's interesting how high some of these rookies are ranked here too. They're obviously being the dynasty format, so you got to kind of pick and choose where you want to go with some of these guys.
It's nice. Damn. Okay.
I'm here for it. Love it. Chris Godwin in the 5th round. That seems like excellent value, Daniel. I think that's a great, solid pick there.
Yeah, it was. I was thinking maybe tight end, but I do enough of tight end fading in these mocks that I've got a pretty good idea of where I'm going to get one that I like. And I know that Godwin's coming off that injury, but I'm very confident in the player that he is and the player that we've seen guys come back from injuries lately, specifically Cam Akers. I think that younger players are getting better at coming back from their injuries, and Godwin, whether he stays in Tampa or goes somewhere else, is going to be, a number one receiver somewhere. So I got 3 number ones. I mean, I'm pretty okay with that.
Where do you want him to go, Daniel?
It's a really difficult ask. He's going to be an extremely high paid receiver. I don't necessarily think that a place like Kansas City makes sense, especially because they're already going to have to extend Tyreek Hill. Yeah. I think ideally, especially if we've heard the rumors about Philadelphia trying to get Russell Wilson, I think that would be an ideal spot for him with Devontae Smith and get him some weapons, have an actual running game you want. I think Philadelphia, for me, is somewhere I would like to see him land, even with Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to check some of the comments here. Kevin has so much value through his first 3 picks. How much did you pay to get him to say that?
I don't even know who that is.
I think that's Zach Berger.
No, I know. I just messaged.
Oh, 3 running backs. Rest in peace. All right. Well, that means that we're just gonna have Steve. You're gonna have to prove him wrong with the rest of your picks here. All right. I want to ask. I know how Kevin feels about Isaiah Spiller. We're both on. He's the RB1 in this class. Now, Daniel, I know you do a lot of digging into prospects. Mm-hmm. I went Spiller as the first running back off the board, and then Breece Hall went right after. Kenneth Walker still on the board. Where do you rank these 3 running backs?
Yeah, I actually have Kenneth Walker as my RB1 in this draft, specifically because of the multifaceted nature of his game. He's a big, powerful physical back who also has speed and quickness, can catch out of the backfield, can also pass protect. So that's a bit more valuable for me than I think that Hall and Spiller's a bit bigger than Hall is, but I'm a little worried about Hall holding up a little bit longer in the NFL. I don't have any of those issues with Kenneth Walker, and the way that he plays, it screams NFL, like guy who can carry the load like Najee Harris did, but he's faster, and I like that more in my back. So that's what I got.
I think our buddy Commish Breeze heard you talking about Kenneth Walker and just snagged him. So he's
And I do think like ETN at the end there is good value at the 512. Like that's I'm on ETN this year. Mm-hmm. I think if you can get him as your running back 2 in leagues, I think that's a good value in startups. Like especially with what he has. I mean, he has Swift and McCaffrey too. But if ETN you can grab him, like I was hoping maybe ETN would drop because if you can even get him as a running back 1 in some leagues, depending on where your wide receivers are, I think that's a good value.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we were kind of debating last night on the Dynasty pit stop, talking about ETN, J.K. Dobbins, and Cam Akers. Now, while it seems like J.K. Dobbins and Cam Akers are light years potentially ahead of ETN, I think people are forgetting about ETN compared to those other guys coming back from injury. So he's kind of somebody that you might be able to get at a lower value, but still could produce in a very big way.
Early.
Kamish got sniped on Waller.
Yeah,
Oh, is it my
early.
pick? Crap. Fryermuth. I like Elijah Moore. That's somebody
That's
I
a good
think people
pick.
are also forgetting because of how the injuries kind of ended his season early. Who do I want to go here? Where's 30 seconds is not enough time. Okay, here we go.
Pick Leonard Fournette. Oh, Michael Carter. Oh.
Get my second young running back taking a major leap this coming year in that Jets offense. I think he's
Let's
not a
hope
bad
so.
value.
Has anybody ever said that like out loud before? Major leap in the Jets offense? Is that something that I think you might have been the first?
Yeah, I feel kind of dirty saying it, honestly, but
Man, coach has got 4 running backs over here.
I know.
He's
He's
piling
killing
up.
my running back build here. Come on, coach.
oh man, look at that team. He's got Herbert,
It's killing
Eckler,
me.
Cook, Barkley, and Jacobs and Kelsey.
Killing me.
At least 3 of these guys are somebody I would have taken already.
All right, we got Calvin Ridley off the board. He's somebody that if he starts next season healthy and with a team, this is going to be way lower than he actually goes.
Mhm.
So Connor, I think you got some good value in Calvin Ridley. Do you think he's with Atlanta next season?
No, I think he'll go to a new team. He's still under contract, right? He's still on his rookie deal, so he's going to have to get traded. So I heard he may go to the Eagles. I've seen Patriots too. I don't think he's going to be on the Falcons next season.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I remember him hearing that he wanted a trade, that he was kind of demanding one. So, Kev, are you really going 0 running backs?
Yes.
Yes. I told you. I'm going 0 running backs. Coach has all of them.
Yeah,
like, what
he
am I
does.
supposed to do here? But no, I'm a 0 running back guy. I will go 0 running back. I'm no shame.
He's gonna take he's gonna snipe some guys.
Trust
late.
the process, okay? Just trust the process.
I just want you to say at the end of the draft you don't like your team. I've been waiting for that.
No,
Like
I
all
like
our
my
mock
team.
drafts.
I like my team right now.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I was looking at Pittman, so Daniel, you beat me to him.
Yeah, just like him. I don't know, man. Carson Wentz scares me, but
Let me ask you if Kenny Pickett, I'm trying to think of a quarterback that could be available in that area. If he were to go there, would you upgrade Pittman?
not really.
Kind of status quo.
Pittman's best attributes are downfield throwing, and he doesn't strike me as a quarterback that's going to be able to necessarily completely do that. The one thing about Carson Wentz, no matter what his misgivings are, he's going to throw it up to Michael Pittman. Like, he's going to just say, okay, I got some single coverage down there. I'm going to throw it to you, let you make a play. That's what Pittman does best, in my opinion. So it's, as much as he scares me, I think he's probably still the best fit for what Pittman brings. But Pickett isn't a guy who instills a lot of downfield passing in the NFL to me.
Yeah, no, I think again that's Pittman's started out looking incredible, and he's kind of slacked off a little bit towards the end of the season. You're going to see which quarterback is there next year, so that will be a big part of his value. I'm going to get the last, I think, elite tight end or elite-ish tight end, and I'm going to go and grab my Dallas Goedert share right there.
Noah Fant disrespect to that.
Yeah, right. I can't believe this.
I'm not a Noah Fant guy.
That is disrespectful.
I will, if Noah Fant balls out, I will do something on Twitter to say I was wrong. But
I hope
Noah,
so.
I'm not a Noah Fant guy. I don't think he's as athletic as people talk about. He seems a little bit slow out of his breaks. I'm not a guy. I'm not a Noah Fant guy.
It's Teddy Bridgewater throwing passes to him talking.
Yeah, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. But yeah, Noah Fant, he's the problem. You're right. Come on.
Any part concern? Let's say Aaron.
That's some Kansas City shit you got going on right there because you don't like Denver. Like, there's some bias going on in there.
Ooh, that's a Malik Willis pick.
Ooh.
Yeah, I figured he was going to be the first QB off the board here.
That's an interesting build. I like that build.
Yeah.
You were trashing him not too long ago.
I was not trash. I
apologize.
just said he needed quarterbacks. That's all I said. I said that he was going to need some quarterback. That's a lot of risk, though. That's a lot of risk.
Yeah. Are you how are you feeling about London? Obviously, you got the 2 top consensus wide receivers. London's seems to be the number 3 consensus wide receiver. Do you feel like he's worth being picked in the 6th round?
Yeah. I mean, I think he can be. I think with London, though, I mean, I'll take the other 2 guys because I think they're landing spot proof. London, I think, is not landing spot proof. Like, I really want to see where he goes and what his draft capital looks like before I draft him.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm sure we'll see some more rookies come off, but not to the extent that we saw kind of in this beginning run here. I think we'll get some proven veterans to go more in this area. I was hoping Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to come back this way. but no chance, unfortunately.
Keeps creeping up boards, man.
Really, he's somebody that I know this has been a comparison used by at least 20 other people, that he's going to be the Brandon Ayuk of next year. Finishes the year just crazy. People overdraft him, and then he ends up being somebody that has a kind of a big step down from what people are expecting when they have their complement of weapons there. Where, Connor, would you feel comfortable taking Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I would probably say somewhere in that 7th, 8th, 9th round. Swift and Hawkinson didn't play during his second half breakout. Swift did towards the end, but he was 100%. So I don't want to say that's fully why he went off. He produced pretty well, but if he's going around 7th round, I'd be okay with it. But anything earlier than that, I'm probably out.
Yeah, that's fair. How are you guys feeling about this guy I'm about to pick for my next pick? Because I think he's somebody that people are forgetting about a little bit.
I mean, if we expect, I expect Lamar to return and be a much better asset. Asset next year, and he's going to help their passing game tremendously. So he's probably not going to have like this extreme huge breakout because that's just not how their offense is. But he's probably going to score you at least 5, 6, 7-ish touchdowns. And I got no issues with Bateman. I think he's going to be a really good asset for Lamar next year.
I think so too. Now, Kev, Derek Delgado comments, I'm surprised I got Jamio there. Do you think that's good value for Mr. Jamio Williams?
Yeah. No, yeah. Especially with Jameson where he's going. I think he's super underrated. I just got an argument last night about it. I think that he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in this class. Even with the ACL tear, like he fits everything that they want. And so I think that's good value.
All right. Well, he got him in the 8th. We are now starting round 9. And Kev, that's disgusting.
What are you talking about?
That is disgusting. Miles Sanders?
Miles Sanders, man.
Why are you hating on Miles Sanders?
I don't care what. I mean, even though you
Miles Sanders in the 8th, are you kidding me? That dude was getting drafted in the 1st 2 years ago. I'll take the value in my zero. Let me build my team.
All right, who's the second running back you're gonna take here?
You're gonna laugh.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I knew it.
I don't see. I like that, and I'm gonna get a lot of crap for it because he's not done anything. But I have to believe somewhere
he's gonna start.
They finally use him properly. They have to.
Mm-hmm. See, Daniel, you're like myself, right? You were an advocate for Clyde this past offseason.
Always, man. Always.
Yeah. And like they don't throw him the ball, which doesn't make any sense to me. Guy that literally caught 55 balls his last year in college, led all Division I players, I think at the running back position. Didn't make any sense. I still
just don't want to use him properly. They did so many outside zone plays and said, "Hey, Clyde, do something you're not good at," and make everyone mad at you. I just don't get it.
That's so true, though. I hate CEH, David. I don't want to say hate. I just was never on the CEH train with where his value was. But if you can get a starting running back in the 9th round, and if they do use him correctly, you're looking at a value. You know what I mean? So I don't hate that play.
Yeah.
In terms of CEH, where he's at.
Dang, I didn't realize this.
You didn't realize this? I think a lot of people's assumption is that I'm related to him in some way, shape, or form. But no, it's just the giant nose that I have. It kind of makes me look like Gronk.
I think your voice seems kind of similar-ish. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking
about what I hear doesn't sound like what actually everybody else hears, so I couldn't tell you.
Steve saying he lives for the risk. You fixed your team nicely after a lot of running backs in the beginning. You really made your draft look pretty decent, I gotta say, Mr. Lawson. So nice job with that. Do you guys like Hunter Renfrow where I took him?
I love that.
It's all right.
Kev doesn't want to give me any compliments. That's okay.
I do like Corral going in the 9th. That was a good pick by Coach Bruce, who just auto-picked it. But I think this is a good. I think this is a good value in that 9th round where you're trying to look for maybe that third quarterback. If you're going to reach on a rookie, Corral would be that guy. Going ahead of Mac Jones, I don't know. I'm not a big Mac guy, but I could see it.
I think there's a big difference with Mac Jones in terms of real life to fantasy. He doesn't seem like he's ever going to be a good fantasy quarterback, which we're drafting for that reason. So he's not somebody I'm targeting too much unless he's like a late QB2 or high-end QB3. But you have to really have a guy that's going to set the world on fire, I think, is your QB1 if he's your QB2. Let's take a look now how things are playing out in this 10th round or 9th round. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Devin Singletary. We got the 2 rookie quarterbacks off the board. Lockett, Renfro, Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, Gesicki, and then Leonard Fournette. I think Tannehill might single-handedly have killed his value more this season than any other starting quarterback. And maybe I'm missing somebody, but he went from being somebody that was, I believe in like the Scott Fish Bowl, he was like a second round pick. And now he's being picked in round 9. Do you think, Connor, that he can bounce back to be somewhat closer to what he was before? Or do you think this is the real Ryan Tannehill?
I think he will with Derrick Henry back. And he wasn't very good on his deep ball either. I think he regressed big time on that. And that's why A.J. Brown didn't have that great of a year either when he was playing. But yeah, I think if Derrick Henry plays the entire season, I think he'll bounce back. Maybe not to top 10, but I would say in that top 12 to 15 range, I would say.
12 to 15. Yeah, look at that. So be a solid QB2. And Sniper, who had Dak Prescott as his other quarterback he had off the board. So waited a little bit and was able to snag him later on. So not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. Matt Ryan, Zach Ertz here in the 10th round. Then we got Mr. Bell, another rookie wide receiver there. We're seeing actually a lot more rookies off the board here than I thought we would see. And maybe that's now that they have their names in there compared to just the kicker picks. I think now people are like, all right, I know which rookies I'm trying to target.
Yeah.
When you guys are doing these types of draft, these, dynasty mock drafts or these dynasty PPR drafts, how often do you try to target rookies as compared to just proven veterans? Daniel, what do you usually do?
So for me specifically, it depends on how the board goes. Like if we start seeing rookies go off early, I'm probably going to just take some of these more proven players. As you can see, I haven't even drafted a rookie yet. I've taken some guys that I think have breakout, specifically like Devin Singletary in the 9th. With Buffalo, he emerged as their starting running back. And in that kind of offense, I'm going to take a shot on that over a rookie who may or may not get a proven shot most of the time. And that seems to be where I go. And I probably lean more towards rookies near the end and vice versa. If they start to drop, I might try to sneak some of these guys in, especially if you're talking about where maybe Keenan Allen goes, maybe try to get like a London or something like that. So just for me, it all just always depends on how the board falls. But the way this one did, it kind of worked out, and where I haven't even taken one yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you're going to have a nice way to finish out the build that you have going right now with Mahomes, Hill, Samuel, Montgomery, Godwin, Elliott, Pittman, Fant, and Singletary, and you got to make your next pick soon. It's a pretty solid build of a lot of good, proven veteran players. And like you said, you can target your rookies later on. What do you guys think about James Robinson? I know he was auto-picked, but somebody that could potentially miss most, if not all, of next season. He's somebody that you would even consider drafting this point in the draft, doing with what he's shown, or is he somebody that you're absolutely not touching? What do you think?
Sorry,
I'm not touching him. I'm out. I'm not going to touch him. With that injury, no draft capital, ETN coming back, new coaching staff. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We do get our first rookie from Daniel here. Is that someone you had your eye on for a little bit, or is it what were you thinking with him?
Only because I think he might end up in Pittsburgh, and I like the surrounding weapons. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. If he doesn't, it's not great, but I'm not a huge on Ritter. But I think if he goes to the right offense, you could have him actually be a productive guy.
Okay, I like it. And Kev taking some more value at the wide receiver position with Mike Williams and Cortland Sutton. Again, very solid picks, just veteran players you can plug in. Especially, we don't know much about Mike Williams as far as where he's going to go yet.
Yeah,
but
there's some risk. I think Mike and Sutton are going to be risk anyway, because if they get Aaron Rodgers, now we're looking at Sutton and your guy Fant, who you hate so much, being a value, I think, in drafts early. Okay. But then it just kind of depends. I like the Kareem Hunt pick that Connor picked too. I think Kareem's getting slept on a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's someone that is going to be an RB2 year in and year out as long as he's healthy and on the field. Obviously Chubb is there, but it keeps him fresh and he doesn't wear down quite as easily. So a kind of a good solid back end pick there. We're making our way through round 11, and I'm up on the clock, and I have no idea who I'm taking. You know what?
That's always fun.
Trey Sermon.
That's who I was thinking.
I'm
just kidding.
Listen.
I'm just kidding. You know what? How about this pick?
I like that pick.
My third quarterback, but I feel like I could very much see him as my QB2, depending on, Russell Wilson, Fields, if one of them doesn't play out how I expect it to. I think he's kind of a nice, safe QB3 coming off the injury. But and again, he could shoot up draft boards once he actually signs somewhere and is the starter. That's where people won't forget about him as much, which is a good advantage if you do some of these drafts early. You can get a jump on these guys before their value starts shooting up. Let's see. We got a couple backups in Madison and Pollard. So, again, good lottery ticket running backs, but at this point right now, that's all they pretty much seem to be. So you're kind of just stashing them, hoping they become something. I got to say, this is a while before you guys make your next pick. I'll go one by one here, starting since Kevin's first. If you had to give your draft so far a grade, what would you give yourself?
An A. I would give myself an A. I picked these guys for a reason. I think that I like where I'm at.
Okay. You're obviously very humble, so I can respect it. Before I ask you, Daniel, I want to ask, I'll go to Connor for this one. Gabe Davis in the 11th round. It seems like pretty decent value for him. Not somebody who was shooting up a lot higher after his playoff performances, but he kind of settled in a little bit more lower at the back end of the draft here. Is that somewhere you're comfortable taking Gabe Davis?
Yeah, I think that's good value. I mean, he's always been a touchdown guy. His first 2 seasons, I think he had 6 or 7 touchdowns, but he just wasn't getting the opportunities, the targets. But if Emmanuel Sanders isn't there and Cole Beasley isn't there, then that's going to open up a lot more playing time for him. So, yeah, in the 11th round, sign me up.
I love it. Love it. Rashad Penny going to Christian, who's snagged Leonard Fournette. Got Brandon Cooks, Rashad Penny, got some good veteran value there late. Now, Daniel, what are your thoughts on Sam Howell? Because I think some people are very high on him. Other people are very low on him. I think he's one of the more polarizing quarterbacks coming in this year. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Sam Howell reminds me of a less accurate Baker Mayfield. So I'm extremely out on Sam Howell. I don't think he's going to be a starter. I think he'll be a backup in the NFL. He might get a shot early because he's a rookie, and I'm just personally not sold on Howell. I didn't see enough in college to really think that he could do much else outside of be like almost what Baker Mayfield is. If he gets in a run first system, doesn't get hurt, I think he could be okay. But it's I'm not a fan.
You say a less accurate Baker Mayfield? Was that what you said?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Woo! God, that's hurts. That's bad.
Listen, Allen Robinson in the 12th is
a huge value.
Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I was hoping he was
going
to come. He's got to be better this year, right? I fully believe Allen Robinson mailed that shit in last year. Just didn't want to play for the Bears because he cannot have gotten that bad, right?
Literally.
Oh my God, I'm panicking. Oh,
here we go.
Oh,
Sam Darnold. Oh,
that hurts. Sam Darnold hurts. That hurts my soul.
Me too. I had him
Sam
quite
Darnold.
A few places last year,
and I still have him. He's not getting off my registers.
When we were doing our mocks earlier, I used to always take him with my last pick to troll Kevin. Every single mock. Couple good other veterans going. Kenny Galladay, Adam Thielen. I think this is pretty decent value for Thielen. DJ Chark could be a good bounce back candidate, Connor. I like your thinking there. And again, Davis Mills too. We're sniffing. We're getting some good. We're going to the Dollar Tree right now, getting some good value. I love it. I love it. And then Kev gets. Is that your first tight end or
second?
That is your second tight end. Yeah, you Pitts earlier on. Yeah. So Hunter Henry, touchdown machine, as your second tight end there. I believe, if I'm not, do you only have still the 2 backs? So I'm expecting a running back here. Just my prediction.
Shit. I don't like that pick. But
Visca. Kev, this isn't 2021.
Yeah, I know. He would have been in like the 5th round if this was 2021. I don't mind that there. I mean, that was looking for some other guys, but I mean, I don't mind going with Chenault just on the upside. I mean, if he gets used certain ways, everybody says he's gonna be the next Debo. That's what I hear on Twitter. Everybody's gonna be the next Debo.
Can we like name the Laviska Chenault every like off season? Be like, who's this year's Laviska Chenault? Something that's going to be talked about all on Twitter and then underperform.
It's gonna be Malik Willis. That's who it's gonna be.
You think?
Well, I don't want to get canceled, but yeah, I do. I think Malik's getting way overvalued based on 5 games or 5 days at the Senior Bowl. I think we got to just slow our roll a little bit.
Who is your QB1? I thought he looked like the best as far as like the most potential. He was my QB1 pick. Who is yours, Kev?
Well, so are we talking fantasy or are we talking like normal? Because I think
give me for both.
I'm still a Matt Corral guy. I think that he wasn't there, and I think he has value. I do like. I think someone said it best on Twitter the other day or something. Like, there's a bunch of QB3s out here, and they really are. I mean, it's going to take development, and I think landing spot matters. But if I had to pick a top 3 right now, I would say I think Willis, Corral, and Howell are my top 3.
Willis, Corral, and Howell.
Yeah, I like Howell much more than Daniel likes Howell. I think he has an arm strength. I think he has the presence there. Now, I don't know necessarily if he's going to ever be really fantasy relevant in terms of like anything more than a QB2. So if we're talking fantasy, I'm not taking any quarterback. I'm just going to take wide receivers in this draft if I have first round picks. That's where I've kind of been at for the last couple of years in terms of where this draft class has been.
I know I'm putting you guys on the spot, but is there a specific landing spot that you're like, if this quarterback goes here, this is the best of all the landing spots, no doubt? And like, is it the Steelers? Is it the Texans? Is it potentially if like the Falcons move on from Matt Ryan? Is there like a spot that you're like, I want this guy going here and he's going to succeed?
It's Pittsburgh for me. Is if they can address the offensive line, you already have your 1 and 2 receivers. You have the young tight end. You have the running back. Pittsburgh is the spot for the quarterback. If Willis gets there, if Ritter gets there, if some of these guys get there, they already have shown the ability to want to run the ball. I think that only helps you in the NFL with the play action game. So that's where it is for me. Okay,
it's a pretty attractive place, and you have to assume that they're going to be just attacking that offensive line a lot this draft. I like Kamish's pick there. You got to get Nico Collins and then Keyshawn Vaughn, who could be the starting running back technically for the Tampa Bay Bucks next year, as Ronald Jones, I believe his contract is up, and Leonard Fournette, his contract is up. So could got a potential starter there in the 14th round. Not too bad, at least as it stands right now. And I just noticed that Robert Woods went off the board, and I have to audible now. Okay, well, who do I take?
Who's Josh Corbin?
What? That's Josh McCorbin from Florida State, but that's not what he looks like. There is a sleeper. That is not Josh McCorbin.
That's why I was like, wait a second. Why is Carson Palmer back?
Sleeper struggles with rookies. There's definitely some struggles going on over there.
All right, we got some good value there with Tyler Boyd, Marquez Callaway. These are just shooting your shot. And then you just hope that these guys are just enough to fill out the back end of your rosters here. These are all our bench guys at this point. Now,
running back.
Yeah, everybody's ahead of Kevin right now. Should just all take running back, so he has less to choose from.
Hey, I'll pick up running backs on the waiver wire once we're done.
So you don't care.
I don't need no freaking running backs.
All right, well, let's. We got Carson Strong. I didn't hear you guys talk about him. He was a name that seemed pretty popular in QB circles. Did his stock drop that much?
Yeah, I think it has. It's specifically, the Senior Bowl does a lot to every quarterback, whether win or lose it. And he struggled in the wind and the rain. He also didn't have the zip that I thought he had at Nevada. And that's kind of going to really hurt your draft stock as a quarterback. But I personally thought before the Senior Bowl that he had the potential to be the best quarterback coming out of this class. Right now, I mean, it's hard to know until he actually plays a snap in the NFL, but he's got potential. I really like if his body doesn't seem broken come season time, then I think he'll be okay. Relatively okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I forgot to keep looking at the comments again. Renfro, massive steal. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I like compliments. Toby, I must be doing okay. No slander towards my team. Does anybody have a problem with Toby's team? Z2, the 5th pick?
I mean, he took Kenny Galladay. If I had to say anything, Kenny Galladay.
And
let me see real quick.
And Steve said I picked Wilson if he could go to Pittsburgh. So, I mean, they're saying that's where they think he's going to go, and they've been pretty open about that.
Yeah.
So I think they're one of those teams that they say it, and they're not. It's not like a smoke screen. They're sticking with what they want. Maybe they'll go trade down for him if they don't think they could get him.
Yeah, I mean, I comped Carson Strong to Joe Flacco. Like, if he can have that kind of career, like where he's, he has the arm. The thing about the Senior Bowl that they came out is like he didn't want to run the offenses that he was put into, and like I think there was some things like that. But someone said that he has like Big Ben attitude, which is fine, but you better back it up. So I think that's the other area where he's going to be. I think landing spots really matters to him. But if he doesn't get drafted in the first round, then I'm kind of out. He's got to get drafted in the late first.
Oh my God, who do I pick? God, this sucks.
Antonio Brown.
Slim pickings down here. Yeah, McColl's fine. That's fine.
I'll take him as my last round dart throw.
Yeah.
This is the bottom of the barrel, folks. This is
Trace Sermon.
This is the 15th round, and we're doing pretty. This is kind of right around where we were going to say, around 45 minutes. As we wrap up here, as you guys all made your picks. I know Kevin already graded his team. Daniel, give me how you grade your team, and then give me your favorite team that isn't your team.
I'm probably around a B. I had some opportunities to maybe get some of the rookies that I like, but I think I've got a decent starting group that's relatively young, and I'm okay with that. Some other probably could have gone QB a little bit earlier. That's really where I would give myself that part. But, I think when you pair yourself with two quarterbacks that have extremely high upside, and Kevin with Allen and Lance, then, you got Derek with Burrow and Watson. I think I like those options much better in terms of the builds. Running back obviously is hit or miss, but I definitely like those two teams in terms of quarterback much better.
I like it. I don't like compliments to Kevin, but I can understand your thinking there. What about Connor? What about you? Give me a grade for your team and then your favorite team that's not yours.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say mine's probably a B minus. I feel like I took a lot of veteran prove it players as opposed to rookies. And my favorite non-team that's not mine. I like Sniper's team, honestly. With Chase, you got two stud running backs at Chubb and Kamara. And then Tannehill is your second quarterback. Can't do bad with that. And then Logan Thomas, honestly, he's solid too. So is Johnny Smith. So, yeah, I really like Sniper's team.
Look at that. McLaurin, Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Odell Beckham. He got a lot of wide receivers in this middle part of the draft. He was just like, I'll take whatever y'all are giving me. So, does anybody like my team?
No, I don't.
Fishing for compliments and I get denied.
Your first running back was Spiller, so I mean,
I like your first pick. You did well there, Justin Jefferson. That was a good pick. And then,
okay. So your first three picks, I'm on board with. I'm okay with those three picks.
Oh man, that's okay. You know what? We're gonna prove you guys wrong in our make believe season that's coming up next year. But on that note, we're going to close out this mock draft. I want to thank everybody that was not on the stream that drafted with us. We appreciate you guys.
Coach. Not you, Coach.
Just auto picking.
Yeah. But the two that are on the stream, I want to make sure you guys get a chance to plug all the great stuff that you're doing. And of course, thanks again for joining us. Let's start with you, Daniel.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. This was a lot of fun. Got to do some awesome drafting, even if some of the picks weren't great. I feel icky picking Trey Sermon myself a little bit, but you guys can find me on Twitter at InHarmsWay19. I do all of my film work for the Fantasy Football Astronauts on the fantasy side. I'm actually going to be doing a Gabe Davis film review coming up, probably going to drop not this next week because I'm on a vacation, but the week after. And then I'm also, if you're into Chiefs content, I'm at the rgrfootball.com. I do videos every single week, film breakdowns on Wednesday, and multiple videos every single week. So again, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course, very much into Chiefs content right here. I can vouch. Fantastic stuff. Connor, what about you, my man?
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. You can find me on Twitter at Combine NFL, and then I'm working on a couple articles for Dynasty Nerds and IDP guys, so be on the lookout for those.
Two of the hardest workers and two of the greatest people in the fantasy industry. Kev, go ahead and, of course, you plug all the great stuff that you're doing right now.
I don't do anything. I just show up when you tell me to show up. But no, I appreciate you guys. If you like anything, like the button, hit the subscribe button for us on YouTube. We really appreciate that. And if you're in the Debbie, you can check out. I did a bunch of Debbie. I did 7 articles last week. I'm still trying to recover my life from last week. So 7 articles on the Senior Bowl, the Shrine Bowl, Debbie mock draft, everything there. You can find at Fantasy Pros.
Are you shortchanging yourself? Didn't you do 8?
Oh, well, I did another one. You're not for Fantasy Pros, but yes, I've written a lot of articles. I need to go home and see my family. That's the key.
do.
Yes, you do. All right. Well, again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And if you want to be in a future mock draft, we'll put out each week if you guys want to hop in, especially if you're in the Triple Play Discord. That's where we put it first. And then after, we'll put it to Twitter for people to come and hop in. So it's a good time. If you want to, just make sure you DM Kevin or myself. We'll get you in there. And thanks, you guys, for tuning in to Triple Play Fantasy. We'll catch you guys in our next mock draft.